This is the original Leatherman Micra, one of the best keychain tools I've ever owned. They hold up really well because they're stainless steel and they don't get banged up on your keychain. Here's, for example, what a current series Leatherman that I've been using on my keys for some time looks like after a few years of use. The scales get all banged up and scratched up, but the stainless steel of the Micras holds up really well. I'd seen a lot of people on the web condense their Leatherman Micras into just one side. They remove the scissors and condense all the tools, or most of the tools, to one side. So I took my oldest Micra, the ones I had where the scissors were starting to go bad, and I did just that. I've condensed every single tool except the scissors. So instead of 10 tools total, I have 9, plus I've added about 4 tools for emergency use. So we have the bottle opener, which is also a mini screwdriver, also can work as a awl. And the tip is intact. A file nail cleaner and file. A small screwdriver tip, which, as it says here, it's for Phillips, so it'll also work on a Phillips screwdriver. A flat tip screwdriver. It can also kind of act like a chisel and a scraper to some degree. The main blade, and then the tweezers. I've made it so that it all fits into this nice little teeny design, which will fit anywhere I want, and I've preserved the split ring keychain attachment. I've added some tools, however, for survival tin use. I have a pin. I also show how I have a pin mounted in another video on my Leatherman Squirt PS4 right here. This fits in a different manner. There's some glue down here that it sticks into. The pin also can be used to extract some of the other tools, including a cut-down tinder quick for starting fires, and a magnet, which is a ring magnet, an incredibly strong ring magnet. You can use it to magnetize the pin. These pins don't seem to stay magnetized, so having a magnet on you to magnetize them, and then you can float it on the tinder quick in water to become a compass. And then there's a fire steel, a ferrocerium rod glued to the bottom of my Micra, which I can extract in an emergency for fire starting. It's not meant as an everyday tool. These are really meant as sort of emergency use tools. But to give you an idea of the size difference, it's half the size, shorter in length because I've cut off one of the bolts. Roughly speaking, it's about the size of a Sharpie pen cap. Somewhere between a Sharpie pen cap maybe, or a AAA battery in terms of its thickness. I've also mounted the keychain attachment to the outside rather than the inside of the clasp here. And in order to fit all of these tools in, I had to splay it slightly, just about a ½ millimeter, maybe even less, in order to fit all the tools in here. I've also cut off the top. In a normal Leatherman Micra mini tool, you have 2 bolts. You have this bolt and you have this bolt. However, I've removed the top bolt and I cut this off with a hacksaw. I think I had to bend the corners in just a little, not much though. So if you compare the original to the modified one, you'll see the reduction in size. And then to add some extra tools, most of them just stay in with friction. However, the ferrocerium rod, the fire steel, emergency use only, is glued in with some hot glue at the base there. And I can just pop that out if I have to, if I'm in an emergency and need to start a fire. And I basically followed the Instructables video that I saw on the web, but I've put the to preserve all the tools that I could, I put the keyring split ring attachment on the outside. I've bent it outward slightly so that it can even pivot all the way inward if you need it to, shortening the length even more still. Unfortunately, a full-size micro will not fit my survival tins. However, the new Micra will. In fact, it'll even fit one of the Altoid Smalls tins. If you look at my Tin 1 video, you'll see the vast majority of the items I keep in my survival kits are the same length and dimensions, roughly a cylinder, such as all of these devices here. By keeping everything this dimension, as opposed to things that are longer dimension, which would have to pack like this, because they can't pack like this, everything fits quickly and easily. And it sort of self-settles in. That's why I've also designed the Micra to fit in with the devices like this as well. I've decided to move the keyring attachment, which rotates all the way around, and I've bent it slightly so that it can do that. I've bent it upward. I've decided to move it to this side, and the reason being that the knife is on this side. And it would be nice to have this sort of out of the way when you're applying pressure to the knife at this point right there. Already pre-loosened it. I thought I'd show how these work. Once you finalize how tight you want these and how tight you screw it together dictates how easily these various devices open. You then want to reapply Loctite, which it has on it as you initially undo it. Remember, if you tighten that too much, these are almost impossible to open. Yep, they are impossible to open right now. That's better. And the having it over on this side makes it more out of the way. You can pivot it all the way in still if you want, which keeps the whole product as short in length as possible. All these hinges snap into position, by the way. But now this makes the knife a little nicer to work with. Here's my Micra on my keychain, complete with my Meritech AAA flashlight, car key, and my telescoping telepen, which I've added a length of fluorescent straw from a 7-Eleven Slurpee straw to make it a little more visible in, for instance, black light. Here I'm lighting it up with a UV light. It also makes it easier to see under twilight conditions.